Welcome to the weekly current affair class. Today we will be dealing from topics from society and security. You must have read the news with respect to reservation to the Dalit community. Okay, that issue that was basically well explained in the Indian Article Express, and the other issues with respect to defense indigenization that deals with our security part. We will be dealing with both the issues in detail. So starting with our first topic, that is reservation to Dalit section of society. First of all, here what you need to understand is that reservation, what is the basis of this reservation? First of all. Second, who is eligible to be classified as a scheduled caste? These both the things need to be well understood. First of all, if we talk about the basis of reservation is social and historical injustice that has been done towards the Dalit community over 1000 years, okay, to curb those social backwardness, to curb those social injustices or social evils, the issue of prejudice, discrimination that was prevailing, okay, against the Dalit community. To curb that out, basically the phenomena of reservation was launched. It was a temporary phenomena and it is still a temporary phenomena, no doubt. After every 10 to 20 years it is extended, but it is a temporary phenomena. The government has the discretion to stop the reservation. Now the issue has again risen. This will be our second basis. Obviously, I hope in your society classes you will have dealt in detail that basically why the reservation is given or what is the historical basis. But we need to understand that who is eligible for this reservation. First of all, the communities that are eligible that are the Hindu Dalits. This was the original provision. Then after independence in 1956, Sikh Dalits were also made eligible, okay, and in the mid 1990s basically Buddhist Dalits were also made eligible for this reservation. Means Dalits who had converted to other religions, okay, outside Hinduism, you need to understand that only from two religious communities, that is from Sikhs and from Buddhists, they are eligible for the reservation, okay, affirmative action. Now the demand has over the period of time arisen with respect to this concept that this reservation should be extended to all the religious communities, outside, which basically what we call as this already eligible communities, that see Dalit, whether he or she has converted to another religion, but basically they at the end they remain Dalits. Basically it was even observed by Supreme Court that see that you can change your religion but you cannot change your caste. Okay, it is a historical injustice, such a social identity that you cannot get rid of. Instead, it is so much prevalent, or it has been able to persist in Indian society so much so that even after converting to other religions, we see that in religions where caste was historically not present, individuals, basically the concept of caste has come to be denominated in those particular religions. Let's say talk of Islam, there is no concept of caste in Islam, but with respect to Indian context you will see the prevalence of Dalits within the Islam. Same with respect to if you talk about Sikhism, it denounces the caste system, but again the system of caste is prevalent there, and that is so much also with respect to another religions, those who were introduced in the Indian society, maybe Christianity, it may be Jainism, okay. The concept of caste is prevalent. So the basis here is the argument that why reservation should be extended to Dalit converts, that from all religious communities, okay, not only that it should not be only linked to Hindu religion or the another religions that were made eligible under this category, Sikhs and Buddhists. Instead it should be extended to all the basically Dalit communities, whether from any particular religion, okay. But why this rationale, why this basis? Because you can change your religion but still you cannot change your caste. This identity has been able to retain its presence within the Indian society. That is the basis on which demand has been raised that reservation should be extended to the Dalit converts. And in that context you will see that under the chairmanship of former Chief Justice of India, that is Justice K.G. Balakrishnan, okay, the central government has established a 3-member committee to examine whether the scheduled castes can be accorded the status of Dalits who over the years have converted to religions other than Sikhism and Buddhism. That means I have already told you that eligibility now to be classified as a scheduled caste from the Dalit community is only given to 3 communities, that is Hindus, that is Buddhists, and that is Sikhs. Okay, there are Dalits prevalent in other religions also, but they have not been extended this opportunity or extended the benefit. But the demand is on the basis that, see, because we are Dalits, we are still witnessing, even after converting the religion, we are still witnessing the discrimination that is prevalent against us because of our identity. So first of all, the basis for recognizing the communities within the fold of scheduled caste was to provide, first of all, safeguards against what? Against the historical injustice. Obviously historical injustice in context of caste. Okay, you must have heard about the notion of pure and impure, or it is also called as purity and pollution. Purity and pollution. Okay, you must have done within your society classes. To remove the evils of untouchability. Obviously this is also again connected with this, because the individual from the Dalit community, he or she is considered as an untouchable individual, and ostracization, because of Dalit, being a Dalit, the particular community is excluded from the participation in society, whether it is a social segregation, residential segregation we still witness in the rural areas, whether that is with respect to quality of opportunity regarding work, whether that is the normal participation in social, economic or political activities, we see exclusion from the community suffered by these communities. So this is the basis on the, to remove this basic historical injustice, to remove the ostracization, to remove the basically what we say evil of untouchability, the concept of reservation was introduced. Moving forward, we will discuss what is the historical background over the period of demand, over the period of time, how this particular demand has evolved. Okay, since the communities from other religions were recognized, okay, how the demand from Dalits from other religious communities have started. First of all, after granting the the scheduled caste eligibility to the Sikhs and the Buddhists also, when the demand rose, UPA government over its time basically appointed 2 important commissions in this regarding. That was, one was Ranganathan basically commission and another was Rajinder Sachar commission. 2 commissions were particularly appointed. You must learn what are these commissions and what was their importance, because it may be quotable in your introductions, in your conclusion with respect to mains answer, or it may be even asked in prelims. Okay, 2 panels basically specifically Ranganathan Mishra commission and Rajinder Sachar commission. First of all, the commission that was set up was Ranganathan Mishra commission. It also made the case that, see, Dalits from other religious communities should be included under the category or should be made eligible to be classified as the scheduled caste, because they are still witnessing the social discrimination because of their identity. They stated that 10% reservation for Muslims and 5% reservation for other minorities in government jobs, okay, and favored scheduled caste status for Dalits in all religion. This is the important line here, that they favored scheduled caste status in all the religions. Basically they stated that religion, the concept of religion should be delinked from reservation. Okay, that the concept of religion, if you are granting the religious status on some particular religious identity, that, see, individuals from only this religion are basically eligible for the what we say status of scheduled caste, but instead it stated that the Dalits from all the communities should be basically included, and denounce the criteria of including the Dalits from only a specific religious community. Okay, then the second commission that was appointed was Rajinder Sachar Commission, it also stated that it brought the issue of inequality of Muslims at the national fold and recommended to constitute, this is important here, you can also quote within your mains answers as well, they recommended the constitution of Equality Opportunity Commission to provide a legal mechanism to address discrimination complaints including in matters such as housing. It also made the case that see the Dalits or the Muslims or the lower class Muslims, they are facing discrimination, and the majority of the individuals from there, those who are facing inequality, those who are exploited, they are the religious converts belonging to the Dalit community. So it also made the case, and it even recommended the formulation of a commission called as Equalities Opportunity Commission, so that their inequalities, the injustices that are they are facing, they should be brought or mainstreamed at the national level, as well as they can be provided with some legal help. We can address the issue of discrimination with respect to the complaints that they will be giving to us. Okay, this was the two commissions that were basically formulated. You must remember these commissions. Then basically, and over the period of time, these were the commissions that were appointed by the UPA government. One another committee was also basically established by National Commission for Minorities. National Commission for Minorities. It was a team led by sociologists called the Satish Deshpande, who was basically asked to look into the matter that whether the Dalits from other religious communities should be granted or should be made eligible with respect to the reservation or not. Okay, its report titled Dalits in Muslim and Christian communities. This was the title of his report, Dalits in Muslim and religious communities. He argued that there was a strong case for extending the scheduled caste status to Dalits, Christians and Dalit Muslims. It also made the case. So you can see over the period of time, three major committees have been set up by the governments over the period of time, and all of them have advocated that yes, they should be made eligible for scheduled caste status. Okay, considering the inequality or the social injustice that they are still facing even after getting religiously converted to another religion, they are still facing the discrimination because of their social identity. But all the recommendations were not accepted. They were not accepted, highlighting that that the findings of them were inadequate, okay, or the findings were basically not up to the mark, and they were basically over the period of time not accepted. So according to the basis of this Ranganathan Mishra committee that we have made, a case or the petition was filed in the Supreme Court highlighting that see, we should be made eligible for the scheduled caste status, and in response to that, basically the Supreme Court gave a notice to the central government to basically fill in their response on this matter, and basically we will hope that central will argue before the Supreme Court that see, we have already formulated the Balakrishnan Commission 2022 on this matter, whether the reservation should be extended to all the religious communities or not. So what is the objective of this Balakrishnan Commission? It is an inquiry commission to find out whether scheduled caste can be accorded to Dalits, that status can be accorded to Dalits who over the period have converted to religions other than Sikhism or Buddhism, because they are already eligible. These two communities aside from Hindu communities, these are eligible for the Dalit status, such as Muslims or Christians. Whether this eligibility can be or that status can be extended to them. It will be a 3-member commission. Okay, it will be headed by the ex-Chief Justice of India, that is KG Balakrishnan, on the basis of the name of the commission has been granted. So this is the basic timeline or what you all need to know about the reservation for the Dalit converts. Now we also need to find out whether basically how this notification is given, okay, how the eligibility or the inclusion or the exclusion basically is granted. So first of all, notification for scheduled caste, this is also something that you have learnt in your polity classes already. See, under Article 341 of the Constitution, okay, the president, the main term here is president, remember it, through public notification specifies certain caste, races, tribes, parts of groups within these communities which can be included for the scheduled castes. So who gives a public notification regarding that who is a scheduled caste or who is not a scheduled caste? It can be accorded to any caste, race, group, tribe or a part of that caste, group, race, tribe by the president. Under which article? It is under Article 341 of the Constitution. This is something that is basically very important for your prelims exam. Then what happens next is Parliament then by law include or exclude from the list of scheduled castes such commissions which have been specified under the presidential notification. If president will notify some communities within that public notification by law, then parliament will include those communities. If he will or she will exclude some communities from the status of scheduled caste, then by law these communities will be excluded from the list by parliament by law. This is something that you need to remember for your preliminary exam, that who issues the public notification, that president under which article, that is under Article 341 of the Constitution. Then basically what is the role of parliament with respect to this? It is basically by making a law to so that basically it can give a effect to that public notification. So this is all that was there with respect to this issue with respect to reservation to Dalit converts. Now moving to our next topic that was also there, that is of defense indigenization. Over the period of time we have already some videos also already discussed this issue, but it is again popping up because of the government's focus on Atam Nirbhar campaign, okay, the recent campaign Atam Nirbhar that you all know about. Then whether you talk about Make in India, okay, or whether you talk about reducing the imports from other communities, that is a big concern for us. So in this context, basically again a demand for defense indigenization basically has again been made, and we will highlight or we will study first of all basically why defense indigenization or what is the need of defense indigenization. First of all, we need to understand that basically why defense indigenization. See, defense indigenization, why? Because as per Ipr, you all must have no Stockholm report that is there, that is also important for your prelims exam. You must go through this, that what is it, that India is the second largest arms importer in the world, okay. We are the second, we are basically in line with Saudi Arabia and all these countries. But what is the problem with respect to this arm importation is that it has the effect of increasing the trade deficit with respect to other countries from whom we are importing, okay. Then basically it thus downgrades the economic growth. If trade deficit will widen, basically another country will be in the trade surplus basically, and we will be trade deficit. It is not good for us. We will be basically, as our rupee slides or as our rupee weakens with respect to dollar, that will be a big concern for us, because we will be on our major needs. We are already dependent on imports, whether that is energy, that then there are some another things, palm oil, and you must have studied within your economic classes that what are the top 5 import items. Then because of these things, our already trade deficit is high with respect to major countries like China is there, okay. And the defense is the another important area which is increasing the trade deficit. And if we want our country to grow, then basically instead we should focus on increasing export of this defense items, as well as we should focus on indigenization. If not export, at least if we do not want to cover this also, at least indigenization, so that our import can at least stop, okay, so that we do not have to spend enormous amounts on basically acquiring the defense what we say capabilities. So this is our first issue that is there. Then obviously the next one is with respect to security implications. Because see, what happens is that when we are dependent for imports upon other countries, it increases our perpetual dependence over others. Okay, for critical technology, specifically with respect to critical technology, we are dependent upon other countries. Okay, it is basically a big concern for us, because that critical technology may be sold by that particular country to other countries also. It reduces our strategic what we say advantage. For example, S-400 missile is there, it is sold by Russia to Turkey also, it is sold by Russia to basically India also. So that is not good for us. It further, it increases the perpetual dependence. Okay, we cannot make independent decisions when it comes to conflict of that country with respect to other countries. For example, a country A is conflict with countries B, and India cannot basically, it will be difficult for us to take a stand, because for our critical technology we are dependent upon that country. So it has security implication, and obviously the sharing of that critical technology with the other countries. Then defense indigenization, it is also good for our overall industrial growth, as it will increase the manufacturing capabilities. You must have studied in your economic surveys the term that was used, hyper industrialization. Hyper industrialization, what is hyper industrialization? When a country shifts from primary sector directly to the service sector, and as a consequence the manufacturing sector is not able to properly develop itself. Normal stage sequence is, first you go in the primary stage, then in the manufacturing stage, and as the country advances to the service sector. But as you know, in 1950s we were also a economy engaged in the primary sector, but what happened afterwards was that as basically IT revolution came, we were able to shift directly from the primary to the service sector. So as a result, our manufacturing sector was not able to properly develop itself. So it is good for us basically if due to defense indigenization, it will increase our manufacturing capabilities. Further, it has a multiplier effect. Okay, it will also give basically demand to what we say another industries also, ancillary industries that will be there, that will also develop along with the major defense industries, that will have basically improve the overall industrial growth. Further, you can also say that it will increase jobs. Okay, it will increase our export capabilities. It will further result in development of those particular regions where the industry will be situated. So it will have a multiplier effect, jobs, exports, industrial growth, basically development. Then further basically ancillary industries associated with the defense sector, that will also be able to develop. So it is a major boost for us. Further, India is dependent for 80% of its arm imports on Russia and US, and indigenization will provide us a strategic independence. We will be able to free ourselves from these two major blocks that are going on, and we will be able to develop something that is on our own, that is of our own, and that will provide us a strategic independence, and particularly with respect to foreign affairs. Okay, because of, I have already told you, because of perpetual dependence, sometimes it is difficult for a country to take a stand basically what it thinks, because of dependence it is not able to do so, because for our critical technology we are dependent upon other countries, and the two major blocks are the Russia and US, as we already know. So we will be freeing ourselves from these particular blocks, and it will increase our strategic independence. So in nutshell, why defense indigenization? First of all, import concern because of trade deficit and a reduced economic growth. Then basically dependence. Third one, strategic independence, and the overall industrial growth, as it has a multiplier effect with respect to increasing manufacturing capabilities, with respect to jobs, with respect to the what we say exports, with respect to indigenization, okay, with respect to development of the ancillary industries. So this is why defense indigenization is needed. Further, we need to look out for, basically we are talking about defense indigenization, but we need to look what are the issues in defense indigenization, why the problem, it is not an easy task, or why we not have been able to do defense indigenization. Despite it being a policy, it has been going on for at least 40 years, when we are talking about that yes, we want to be self independent, we want to be self sufficient in the defense sector, but we have not been able to achieve that. What are the basic reasons, or what are even the challenges that the government will face? First of all, our research and development, government does only 0.7% of GDP on R&D, due to which there is lack of innovation. When we will not be able to spend in the research and development sector, we will not be able to develop new creative, or we will not be able to give effect to the new innovative and creative ideas. That is the first basic issue. Then there is something wrong with our defense industry, that is long gestation period. Sometimes orders, even with respect to export and our own needs, it is applicable to both the issues, export as well as our own needs. Orders are not been able to deliver on time. Sometimes it is basically 2 years past the promised time. Basically this is long gestation, this much period they are taking to deliver the basic orders, and basically which brings us the issues of efficiency and productivity of our defense PSUs. Okay, long gestation period, basic issue. Then basically there is also a issue of lack of adequate budgetary allocation. Basically, if funds will not be provided to the defense industry, to the PSUs, basically how they will be able to develop their capabilities, how they will be able to venture into the new areas, that is a big concern for us. Okay, then there is also issue with respect of skilled personnel who can drive that basically innovation creation that is there. Okay, who can give effect to the new ideas and innovative. Two things are basic needed for innovation. See, one is R&D, so that there is an idea then skilled personnel who can give effect to those ideas. Both are necessary for us. And now with respect to skilled individuals, there are two issues we already know. First is the literacy rate, okay, or poor learning outcome that you must have studied in the education. Issues in education, these are the two issues because of which skilled individuals are not there. Second issue is with respect to brain drain. The individuals who are skilled, okay, they are migrating abroad, okay, due to which there is a dearth of skilled individuals within the country. That is a basic issue for us. Then bureaucratic delays. All we know about the bureaucratic inertia with respect to corruption that is there, with respect to red tapeism resulting in public sector inefficiencies. Okay, files keep on moving from table to table, but procrastination of decision making is there, but at the end decisions are not taken. Okay, then poor presence of most important private defense companies. Okay, this is a big concern for us. Even if you can talk about the startup culture here, if you want to thrive basically indigenization along with PSUs, you need the competition from private sector, and basically there is very lack of enabling environment, okay, in which the private sector can thrive with respect to the defense companies. We need to see a comparison that where our defense sector is lying today. If you talk about the US and you talk about India, you will comparison that the companies like Lockheed Martin are there and another number of companies are there. We do not have any significant presence of that type of private companies in the defense sector, because earlier it was exclusively marked as a state sector, okay, public intervention only. Then basically when private sector was allowed, lack of enabling environment is there, bureaucratic inefficiency, red tapeism, okay, these all the things basically does not provide scope for the private sector to thrive in this area. That is a basic issue. So what are the issues is there? First of all, you need to remember R&D, gestation period is there, budgetary requirement, then skilled personnel, then basically bureaucratic issues, and last one is a lack of thriving private sector, okay, which can enhance even efficiencies and provide the competition to the defense PSUs. These are the basic issues. Moving forward, in order to provide for self-reliance, okay, self-reliance and announce basically government has announced Atmanirbhar package. Under it, Ministry of Defense formulated Defense Production and Export Promotion Policy 2020, which basically provides that how we will promote our defense indigenization and what will be our targets, all these things, basically objectives, targets, all the things it talks about. So what does it talks about? It talks about achieving a turnover of 1,75,000 crore, that is basically 25 US billion dollar, and it will also focus on export of 35,000 crore from aerospace and defense goods services with a specific target, that is of by 2025. Okay, so what is the basic target here? That is of achieving a turnover of approximately 25 US billion dollars and at least having a 5 billion export from that in the aerospace and defense sector by 2025 to encourage innovation, creativity. Okay, it talks about developing a dynamic, robust and competitive defense industry including emerging spaces, aerospace and naval shipbuilding industry to cater to the needs of armed forces with quality products. So it is, what it is talking about here is innovation, creativity, and it will be done through dynamic, robust and competitive defense industry including aerospace and naval shipbuilding. What does it next talk about is obviously specifically focusing on Make in India initiative through domestic design and development. Okay, we need to encourage, see what here very prominent role is played by DRDO, and we need to encourage its role in design making and development through Make in India program, so that our defense indigenization can take place. Then to promote export of defense sector and become a part of global defense value chains. You need to know that, see, defense industry is global, a very big industry, and there are some countries basically who are not only trade surplus in defense sector, but they are also able to dominate the global power scenario because of their strategic advantage, because of the more advanced state of the art weaponry. And India through also this basically wants to achieve that through export of defense industries and become a part of global value defense chains. Okay, then at the last, basically we already discussed that private sector is very missing in this scenario. So it will focus on creating an environment that encourages R&D, rewards innovation, create India IP ownership. IP ownership is very important. IPR, for that purposes please read National IPR Policy 2016 is there. It is very important, and promotes a robust and self-reliant defense industry. So it will also give through enabling environment through rewarding innovation, creating a IPR regime. It wants to encourage the private industry or the recent startups in the defense sector so that they can thrive in the defense sector. Okay, they can basically be provided with the environment that is basically of exclusion of bureaucratic delays and inertia. So these are the basic points with respect to this defense production policy. Then we also need to discuss the other steps that have been taken in this regard, and another ones are basically government, you must have studied about, just give me a second, you must have studied about defense corridors in Uttar Pradesh and Tamil Nadu that the government inaugurated. Then Startup India campaign was also there, and the very recent and prominent one, IDEX. Okay, that scheme was also launched by the government. Then design and development and DRDO is very much encouraged. You can give the examples of Prithvi is there, Agni missiles are there, or recent Tejas. Government is also considering the export of this aircraft. Tejas aircraft is there. Then government has also went for the overhaul of ordnance factories. So with respect to indigenization, what you can talk about is a specific policy that government has launched. Then you can talk about the schemes that government has launched. Then you can talk about the defense PSUs, okay, that government has went for overhaul. Then you can talk about the specific manufacturing capabilities, okay, through making of the defense corridors that you can talk about. Then you can talk about is rewarding innovation. Rewarding innovation as seen in basically DRDO sector. So Prithvi missile is there, Agni missile is there, or export of Tejas aircraft is there. So this is all. If question comes to you that basically what the government has done to promote the defense indigenization, you will not write random points. You will create the subheadings that see there are some policies, then there are some schemes, then there are defense PSUs, then there are manufacturing capabilities, then there is rewarding innovation, and you will classify all these things under particular headings. Okay, so this was all that was there with respect to defense indigenization. Okay, so we will meet next week. Till then, best of luck.